Welcome to the Family Vacationer with Rob and Danny. The go-to podcast for families on the move.
Hello, everyone. Danny here. Welcome to the Family Vacationer. Well, Rob is on location in Orlando at Universal Studios, and we're going to be talking with him as he interviews Lynette Granger, the sales representative with Universal Studios, in just a bit. Now, you know, Orlando is ground zero for a seemingly ever-escalating battle for the dollar of families, and we've recently covered a lot of ways that Disney is expanding in a previous episode, but Universal Studios recently announced that they will be opening a brand new theme park, Epic Universe. Now, this is going to be the first brand new theme park to be built in Orlando in 20 years. Now, according to Tom Williams, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer for Universal Parks and Resorts, the company promises, and I quote, the most immersive and innovative theme park they have ever built. All right, now the 750 square foot development will double Universal's footprint in Orlando and 12 minutes from the existing resort property. Now, Universal didn't release a lot of information on what we can expect in the park from a ride or intellectual property standpoint, but it did promise a hotel, an entertainment center, restaurant, and shops. You know, it's always dangerous to deal in rumors with this sort of thing, but it is easy to believe that this new park will offer some sort of expansion to the Harry Potter universe and some sort of involvement with the Nintendo brand. You know, Universal and Nintendo have had a partnership since 2015, and they're currently building the first Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan. Well, beyond that, development plans filed with Orange County, Florida suggest that there will be 4 different lands, as they call them, in this new park, with each land being self-contained with entry and exit coming from a hub and spoke design. Now, the existing Universal Studios Resort in Orlando consists of Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios, and the water park, which is called Volcano Bay. Now, the resort features 8 hotels, including the newly opened Endless Summer Surfside and Dockside Inn and Suites. The resort also features the entertainment, shopping, and dining area known as City Walk. So without saying too much more, let's send it down to Orlando. Rob, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Danny. I am in sweltering Orlando, Florida right now for some on-site travel agent training here at Universal Studios Orlando. Currently, I'm sitting in my hotel room at the Bayside Tower at Cabana Bay Resort with a fantastic view of the water theme park, Volcano Bay. You know, there's certainly a lot of excitement around the area with the reveal of the 4th Universal Park called Epic Universe. Unfortunately, the announcement that they made did not come with a ton of specifics, but I am excited to play you guys an interview I recorded earlier in the week with Lynette Granger of Universal Studios Orlando. Let's listen to the interview, then we're going to come back and unpack a lot of what she has to say. All right, let's welcome Lynette to the show. Lynette, welcome.
Hi, good to be here.
Lynette, tell our listeners a little bit about you and how you wound up working for Universal.
Oh, that's such a long story. So, as he said, my name is Lynette, and I am a representative here for our travel industry sales department. I actually started my affinity for Universal when I was younger. This was kind of the park that all the cool kids went to. It had Nickelodeon Studios and all the thrill rides. And when I grew up and it was time to pick a college major, I wanted to play for the rest of my life in theme parks. So I actually went to Rosen College of Hospitality Management. I majored in hospitality management with a specialization in theme park management. So I pigeonholed myself and made sure that I got a job at the place I wanted to be at forever. I got my start with theme parks in Walt Disney World Resorts in their entertainment department. Friends with a Princess. And from there, I was able to audition for Universal's Halloween Horror Nights and be a huge part of that as a zombified chainsaw cheerleader. Oh, yeah.
We need pictures of that. So
we'll give you some pictures to use for it. Completely different person. So that was a lot of fun. I got to do a couple internships with the company. Went on to entertainment management for Mardi Gras, holidays at Universal, and Halloween Horror Nights, which is kind of back to my roots. I knew that I wanted to share this destination with other people so that they could experience something that I loved, and that's kind of how I ended up here.
Awesome. So with all the choices that consumers have for a vacation, what do you feel separates Universal Orlando Resort or Universal Studios period, and what makes this the place to be?
Oh man, this place is just incredible for me. We are an ever-changing and an ever-growing destination. Just this year alone, we've had 3 major announcements: Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, Epic Universe, and Big Fire, and there's still so much more to come down the pipeline. So I feel like if a guest has been here 5 years ago, they haven't been to Universal, and I think that is the key. From coast to coast, Orlando to Hollywood, we have so many different offerings, and at Hollywood where you can truly ride the movies, and also our IPs, man. We have Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. Who doesn't love to meet a raptor?
Sure. So what do you recommend that families do to get the most out of their Universal Studios vacation?
Book through a travel agent for sure. I say that because I work with travel agents, but at the same time, they really can offer you the best vacation. They can tailor it to your family's needs. And I also think to maximize your time, you definitely do want to stay in an on-site resort. You're in such close proximity to everything. You're within walking distance from all the parks. You also get early park admission. That being said, we do have 3 premier properties that offer unlimited express passes. And that is just a great feature to take advantage of. Like if you're used to vacations at other destinations, you only get to pick 3 at a time. You have to pick specific times, kind of stalk an app and wait for the attraction that you want to ride to show up and use your passes and whatnot. With Universal's Unlimited Express, you're not limited. You could ride the Hulk 5 times in a row until you're sick and blue in the face, or you can ride every attraction in a day at one park and really maximize your time here.
Okay, and you mentioned some of this, but other than location, what are the main benefits of a family staying on property?
Unlimited Express, close proximity, and I do truly believe there is a hotel for everybody. There is a hotel for somebody who has a very small budget to somebody that wants to just ball out and have this luxurious vacation at Portofino Bay. There's a hotel for literally everybody, and one of the benefits of staying on site at a hotel is if you are a guest at one hotel, you're a guest at all of them. So you can enjoy all of the different hotel amenities, and I think that that's something very unique and very special to our on-site resort guests.
You mentioned that each of the hotels have their unique theme. Can you go into a little more detail about that?
Sure. So I'm going to start with our 3 premier properties, our legacy properties, if you will. Portofino Bay is our first property that opened in 1999. A fun fact about that is we actually partnered with Steven Spielberg, the director of E.T. He came back from a vacation from Portofino, and it was something he was in love with and talking about. So when we partnered with him and we're like, hey, Steven, we want to make a hotel, that was his first recommendation. And Universal actually sent their creative team out there to study Portofino. So it's
how do you get that job, being on that team?
I know, right? I have a couple of friends that work on creative, and I am just jealous of them every day of my life. But yeah, they flew out there, went to Portofino, and it is the closest that you can get to Portofino, Italy, without actually going to Portofino, Italy. There are lots of romantic settings, mood lighting. There's weddings that you can actually plan and have at Portofino Bay. So it is a romantic destination for sure. There is Hard Rock Hotel. If you either love the brand or you don't, right. It is a very edgy resort. It's for your music aficionados. We have.
So if you want a quiet resort, that's probably not the one you.
Probably not the best. I mean, you can rent a full-on guitar in the lobby when you check in. Yeah. There are headphones, so make sure that you use them.
I'm sure everybody does, right?
Oh, of course, and lots of rock star memorabilia. So it's definitely the place to be if you're a music fan. Royal Pacific Resort is Polynesian themed, very beautiful theming there. It actually has its own backstory too. A man named Jake actually flew a plane and landed in Royal Pacific and fell in love with a beautiful girl and fell in love with the destination and decided to stay. And you can still see Jake's plane out there now. And if you ask any of our staff at Royal Pacific Resort, they can tell you the story of Jake and Royal Pacific.
Nice.
Our preferred category, there's Sapphire Falls. It's a Caribbean-inspired resort. Very lovely, very, very well themed to the Caribbean, all the way down to our Strongwater Tavern, which has over 300 different types of rum that you can try, all the way down to a rum flight.
Maybe not for the kids, but for the parents.
It's a great amenity for the parents. We do have beautiful lights that light up at night. There's the Sapphire Falls and the water taxi, and it's just a beautiful, calming, peaceful resort. Our prime value are our Aventura Hotels and Cabana Bay Beach Resort, two very different hotels in the very same category. Cabana Bay is inspired after the 1950s kind of beachy hotels. They play the 50s style commercials in their food court area. There's dive-in movies at the pool. The pool's very inspired by that kind of 50s vibe. It's just a lot of fun, all the way down to the VO5 shampoos in the shower.
We're actually staying at Cabana Bay, and we're actually going to do a bonus episode of the Family Vacationer on Cabana Bay. Not only do you have the VO5, you have the Zest.
Oh yeah, that's
the Zest soap bars. So that's interesting as well.
So themed all the way down to the soap bars. We also have our Volcano Bay view rooms at Cabana Bay, where you can get a up close and personal view of Volcano Bay, and I think that is the best room view on property.
We have one, and it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty incredible,
yeah.
And you're within walking distance with your own private entrance to Volcano Bay, so that's pretty important as well. Aventura, which is in the same category, is a very modern, very sleek hotel, very technologically forward, and that's kind of the theming there. So if you have a guest that wants to stay at a prime value resort, you have kind of the lots of fun of Cabana Bay,
right,
where there's a lot of things to do. It has the most amenities out of all of our on-site resorts.
And a lazy river.
And a lazy river on-site where you can rent tubes and float along it all day. And for the adults, for the parents, if you want to purchase an adult beverage at our pool bar, the cups actually float. The water with you.
Now that's the kind of attention to detail most people will really appreciate. So.
Oh yeah. Me personally, I was very excited to discover that. And then our newest property, Endless Summer, has just opened, and I feel like this is just a game changer for the theme park world in general, with price points starting around $85 a night for a standard room. Surfside has just opened. It's available and open. Go check it out. Call your travel agent today. And Dockside will be opening in 2020.
Call me. That's fine.
Your travel agent.
That's right.
Dockside will be opening in 2020, and once that opens, it will be our largest resort on property.
So that leads right into this. With the cost of a family vacation seemingly going higher and higher every year, what's Universal doing to address this, to make this attainable and affordable for families of all income levels?
Well, for me, I believe if you're going to work for a company, you have to believe in the vision and the mission statements that your company holds. And one thing that I've seen just by working at Universal is we listen to our consumers. I mean, Endless Summer, like I said, is a game changer, and it was us listening to our consumers. It was us listening to their needs and their wants. They want to stay here with us. They want to stay on site, but they need that price point.
Sure.
And there's so many vacation options that we have that you can customize your vacation to whatever suits your needs. And I think that that's just a big accolades to how we view our consumers and how we respect their feedback that they give to us.
Sure. Well, let's wrap it up talking about Halloween Horror Nights. I know this has become incredibly successful for Universal. Can you talk a little bit about, Can you talk a little bit about what to expect this year? What's going on that's maybe different or new or?
Halloween Horror Nights every year never ceases to amaze me.
I guess let's back up for a second. If you've never been, explain a little bit, or if you're used to a not so scary party, what would be
this
different?
Is scary.
Right.
This is an event that's not for the faint of heart, but if you haven't been, you gotta go. You have to experience it.
And it is a separate ticket.
It is a separately ticketed event. Basically, during the nights of Halloween Horror Nights, and you can look this up on our Halloween Horror Nights official website, the nights that we have it available. As soon as the sun goes down, your nightmares come to life at Universal Orlando Resort. We completely transformed this resort. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned this. When I was in high school, I would watch the Unmasking the Horror Tour, and I'd watch the creative team kind of talk about, I'm like, God, I want to work with those guys one day. And now I pass them in the hallways every day. But just the attention.
Now, what are those guys like outside? I mean, are they
the most nicest people you will ever meet in your life?
So no chainsaws in their personal time? Okay, all right.
It's like scarily normal. They are some of the nicest men that I have ever had the pleasure of partnering with. That team is amazing. The manpower to put on that event. So lots of kudos to them. But Halloween Horror Nights is a intense event, and it is a lot of fun. There's jump scares galore, the attention to detail. It's definitely for your horror fans and for those that want to have a scary good time. Halloween Horror Nights also has exclusive food. The infamous pizza fries are at Halloween Horror Nights. So if you're a foodie, you definitely got to check it out. So Halloween Horror Nights this year, what to expect. Halloween Horror Nights this year, Stranger Things is returning. Like I said, every year Halloween Horror Nights evolves and just breaks records after records. And the Stranger Thing house was so popular last year. Oh my goodness. Get your Halloween Horror Nights Express tickets if you want to see every house. So this year we have already announced all of our houses, intellectual properties, and scare zones. There's arcade-themed scare zones. There's Vanity Ball. I'm most excited for Zombieland.
Okay, what's going to be part of Zombieland?
So Zombieland is actually based off of the film Zombieland Double Tap.
Okay.
It is coming out in theaters this year. It is a sequel to the first Zombieland. It's a great movie.
I missed that one. I'll have to go back and watch it.
You got to watch it. You got to do your research.
I do.
Rob Zombie's coming back this year. He has a scare zone, and he also has House of 1,000 Corpses.
Oh, wow.
Stranger Things, like I said, is returning with season 2 and season 3. So if you are a Stranger Things fan like myself, this is a can't miss. So just lots of fun and a scary good time. And one thing I do want to throw out is if you are not sure if you're ready for the jump scares and you're ready for all of that, we do have an Unmasking the Horror tour, which I would 10 out of 10 recommend if you want to see the detail and a little behind-the-scenes tour of Halloween Horror Nights.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Lots of reasons to visit Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood. So thanks again, Lynette, and we will talk to you later.
Thank you.
Lynette was a good sport and a great host to all of our agents from Star Stuff Travel. They're on-site agent training. So we appreciate her and Universal again for that interview. Now, there's several things that were brought up in that interview that I want to go over. First off, I've had many clients look at Orlando as an either-or situation with Disney and Universal, with many of my clients believing that Universal is somehow this anti-Disney. What's interesting is that that's not how Universal sees themselves at all. They believe they're the perfect companion to a Disney vacation. To that end, Universal Orlando offers the Take Two ticket where, for a price, they'll come and get you at a Disney resort, bring you to Universal for a stay, and then take you to the airport. Or you can do it in reverse. They'll pick you up at the airport, bring you to Universal for a stay on property, and then take you to a Disney property. You can also stay at Universal, and they'll, again, for a price, take you to and from Disney parks for 1, 2, or 3 days of your Universal stay. So they really are going out that extra mile to make Universal the companion to your Disney vacation. And I think this is where the newest on-site property at Universal really comes into play, Endless Summer. Lynette mentioned that a standard room starts as low as $85 a night. $85 a night. Disney, for example, their closest on-site offering is normally over $100 a night more than that $85 price. For around $130, you can get a family suite at Endless Summer. So that really is a game changer. And also, if you're a Disney veteran, you know that pool hopping at Disney, well, that's a no-no. You don't do that at Disney. However, Universal Studios encourages that. They want you to try out the different pools and amenities at all of their resorts during your stay. So you could pay $85 a night at the Endless Summer Resort and then spend your day at a beautiful pool at Portofino Bay or Hard Rock Hotel. There's tons of value now at Universal Studios. So let's talk Epic Universe for a minute. That fourth park is certainly going to be interesting. Now, for one, the location is 10 to 12 minutes away from the current resort cluster. So if you're familiar with Orlando, Epic Universe is going to be close to the convention center. Definitely not right next to where the other resorts and Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure and Volcano Bay are. It's 10 to 12 minutes away. It's going to provide for some interesting transportation and logistic challenges to shuffle resort guests all around all of those properties. I have to say, I'm kind of excited to see how Universal is going to tackle it. I mean, sure, they could put a fleet of buses out there and get the resort guests to and from that way, or there could be some creative way that they handle the transportation issues. We'll have to wait and see. And we're going to have to wait quite a while to see, because right now they're in the process of grading the land. So the park's several years away from opening. So a couple programming notes. On our next regular episode, which is going to be on September 24th, we're going to do a deep dive in on Halloween at the Orlando resorts and look at the differences between Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And next week is going to be another mini episode where I'm going to review Cabana Bay from my recent stay. Also, don't forget there's many ways to keep up with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and obviously the familyvacationer.live. And I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you I would love to help you plan your next vacation to Universal Studios Orlando or Universal Studios Hollywood. Make sure and visit the website, that's thefamilyvacationer.live, and hit the travel question button, fill that out, and we can start planning your vacation today. And that's it for now. Thanks again for listening to The Family Vacationer. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to The Family Vacationer. Make sure and subscribe to hear more of Rob and Danny.